Welcome back to the City Current Show. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're always honored to bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making a difference and powering the good. And in this case, we're talking about technology and networking, making your life easy. We're talking with Dave Castro. He's the CEO and founder of IceBrekr. Dave, how are you doing?
I'm great. It's great to be here, Jeremy.
So let's start with a little background. When we talk about networking and going out to events, it can be awkward, it can be complicated. For some, it can be fun. But give us a little bit of just how you got into this world of networking and making it easy.
Yeah, for sure. So, I grew up basically, in college doing software sales, and then ended up in enterprise software sales. Been a ton of conferences and networking events and those type of things. So really a lot of experience my whole career doing that. Even as an entrepreneur, I was always the sales guy on the partner team. And, you realize that when you get into an event, there's so many people, right? And they all have name tags that 50% of them you can't read because there's hair or like a, suit lapel like covering it or whatever. And so that's awkward because you're trying to not look creepy as you're trying to read their name tag on their chest. And then even if you realize that, only 2 to 5% of the people that are going to be there are going to be your niche, like key connection. If you understand your business, you understand that only 2 to 5% of that room is going to be a good connection for you. So which ones are there? Like if you have 100 people in the room, let's just keep the math simple because math wasn't my strongest subject. Then that means you're going to have like 90 plus conversations in order to meet those 2 to 5 people, right? That are key connections for you. So that's kind of like, historically in the subconscious, I guess, what I was aware of. And so when I have like this brain that I like very associative. So I have stuff on my shelf in my brain, and when a technology, comes to mind, I can associate with an opportunity, and so that happened. I might be overanswering the question, but driving down the road on 65, connecting your phone to your radio, right, so you can hear your Spotify, picking up everybody else's phones as they're zooming by you at 75, 80 miles an hour. Like, all the connections are made, and you just realize further that, phones are extension of people's bodies. They each have a unique like social security number of their own. And so just coming up with the IceBrekr idea, both of those kind of worlds, the tech kind of functional foundational component, as well as the need converged.
So when you look at the explanation of IceBrekr and the efficiency, the ease of connection, go ahead and dive into IceBrekr. And obviously there's an app, so it's on your phone. So go ahead and dive in.
The idea is that it's utility. Everybody has like a phone they can call anybody at any time, right? They can text at any time, email at any time. Right? Those are utilities. We don't really like care what the app is, right? Doesn't matter what app you have, I send you an email. My vision for IceBrekr is a utility, right? So that no matter where your tribe is, who the people are, where your tribe like congregates. So you go there, right? And then you bring your utility, and then you say, gosh, you know what? I'd like to meet podcast hosts. I'd like to meet investors. I'd like to meet whoever it might be, right? Maybe you're growing your business. I'd like to meet salespeople, right? So you put your keywords in there. Event planners would be for me. So you put your keywords in there, and then when you go into that context, you put your phone in your pocket, it buzzes, you pull it out, and then on your discovery screen is the people in that room that are within 100 yards or so, like eyeball distance, that fit that profile. You see their picture, their name, their headline, and then you can see like about them, what they say about them, so whatever they want to say about themselves, and then the links that they want to share, like their socials, like LinkedIn, etc. So you immediately are able to say, okay, you know what? While I'm here, I need to make sure I connect with Jeremy. I need to make sure I connect with Dean, whoever it might be. And you go right up to them if they're not talking to anybody, or if they're talking to somebody, you just kind of pay attention, or maybe just save them, right? And then later you can reach out when you have time to think about what you're going to say. But the idea is make the connections that matter, and spend your time, with the people that make the most. And once you've done that, once you've identified, like, okay, here's the people that I need to see while I'm here, like you become very present with the people around you. Like the FOMO is gone, right? And then you can just be like human with your fellow humans and enjoy the conversations, which you would have enjoyed a little bit before, but they're not people that you want to talk to again. And so you want to make sure that you get the value out of the event, you know?
When you look at kind of how the magic works, you mentioned event planner, someone you wanted to connect with, because obviously I think on this, their ability to send this out pre-event saying, hey, everyone, go on, download this app, fill out your profile. I think that's an important piece of the equation. So I guess my question for you is, how necessary is it for everyone pre-event to have their profile filled out, like a picture about them? So when you do plug in those important keyword searches, you're seeing the population of who's there versus them in the room not having a profile, kind of hiding, so to speak. So talk
Exactly.
about the dynamics of how it works.
That's fantastic. Yeah, definitely valuable and important for people to have their profiles in there. And before the event, better, because, when you get to the event, you're kind of doing it. And there will be people that download it for the first time at the event, and maybe only put like one line in, or maybe put some hashtag. That's fine. As long as you put information in there that is descriptive enough that you're getting value for yourself, and then also letting people know like who you want to connect with, you can do that. But yeah, so you'll get as much value, just like with anything related to networking or whatever it is. We get as much value as we put into it. We are like we have some things that we're doing to make that even easier and so forth. But the idea, I started off with like really heavy like privacy thoughts and so forth. And as we've pushed IceBrekr and as we've talked to users and stuff, we've dialed a little bit of those back just to enable a little bit more like convenience or value. So but yeah, that's a great question. That's definitely important for people to put that in beforehand, and then also like to put in who their keywords are, right? Who they're, so that they can just click the button and then the filter will do it for them, right?
Yeah, and I think to your point, the value goes both ways. The more effort you put in on the front end, the more value you're going to derive at the event and even after, because you're making it easier to connect and find the valuable connections. And so I think on both ends, it's an important piece of the equation for the event to make it easier and more accessible, but also more effective for the attendees to connect. Because when you are going to events, you do want to network, especially, I'm even thinking for nonprofits on the sponsorship side. When you look at the value of having the businesses sponsor the events, it's for them to build relationships too. And so there is a powerful ROI when you go to any event from a relationship building perspective. And so going in and having both sides fill out their profiles, but knowing what you're trying to connect and how you're trying to connect, that makes it easier. And so then the piece of it is just the efficiency on the front end. And I think just like anything else, you look at, self-driving cars and Tesla and cars like that, the power necessarily isn't in the one car, it's in it being networked. And so all of a sudden now it's learning from all the other vehicles and everything that's happening. And it's the same kind of thing. The more this becomes more mainstream and everybody's on the platform, it makes it so much easier where it's like, ding, ding, ding. Okay, yeah. Okay, let's this. And so all of a sudden now there's power in the network that opens up the relationships at a different level. So I think that's another thing, just perspective, when you talk about what this means, the events, the platform, but obviously where it's headed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
What do you think on your end is like what are the next steps? So how do people start engaging, downloading events? How do we start helping to kind of push this?
I appreciate that. The very first thing that it's got a great QR code business card info sharing feature. And part of the reason for that is, okay, you meet this person, now you got to share your information, right? And but the other part is I'm trying to give some value to people before everybody's using IceBrekr, right? And it's a great value. So like you can turn on or off your personal links or your professional links or your phone number. I might talk to somebody and I might want to share my LinkedIn profile, or I might not, right? When I'm sharing my business card, you've got no option with the business card. It's all there, or it's not there, right? Even the business card with the QR code, it's all there, or it's not there. So what this does, it's free, right? But you can like change and give whatever you want, or notes. Hey, we met here. We're gonna reach for coffee. All that information goes into the VCF file that goes into your contact database or into your CRM, right? When they scan your QR code. So everybody downloading that would be, first, that would be great. And then, event planners would be let people know about it. I'm constantly thinking of features that would be valuable before there's like critical mass. But being here in Nashville, out of Nashville, definitely trying to grow it here so that people go to an event or they're in a context like this. The Well Coffee House is very frequented by lots of professionals and networking. And so people would say, hey, I wonder if people have IceBrekr here, and they turn it on. That's kind of what I'm going for at some point.
How do you, as an entrepreneur, make money? So where does the money come in on your end to make this sustainable?
Great question. So it's the freemium version, there's some ads in there. So like if you happen to be Googling something and then you're using IceBrekr, it might have a little band at the bottom. Do you want to buy a Chevy? So you can turn that off. You get the really nominal cost. And then there's subscription, right? Which is what I just mentioned, you turn it off. And then there's a little bit, almost all features available to everybody right now. So at some point we'll have to think about that, and the price is really low. But so subscription, and obviously events. When we do an event, everybody needing a license will help with like both critical mass as well as monetization. But then there's like native ads in there too. So for an event, I can have the sponsors have like a little carousel, and they get some ads, and then you click on it, and there's all the word processing links and stuff you could do, right? And a call to action button at the bottom to text you or go to your URL, and or announcements. They could be announcements instead of ads. So those are the main monetization components right now. Because of the privacy thing, I've had tons of people, users even like, man, there's a data component of that, but we haven't touched that because I really, it's the utility is what I'm going for, right? There's plenty of other platforms that do that type of stuff. I'm really just trying to be Prometheus, so to speak, not to be too lofty, but bring fire to the people. And I'll say this because I think it's true. I'm trying to solve a problem that has been a fun literary device throughout history, right? Two people have been in the same context and didn't know it, and it would have been like an amazing connection, and they missed because they didn't know it, right? That's history, that's literature. I mean, there's stories all over the place about that. And that's the kind of stuff that I'm trying to bring help for.
Yeah. What's been the feedback already? I know that you've got some testimonials on the website. What's been the feedback so far that you've received?
People love it. The magic is when people have the profiles in, I mean, think about it. When you have everybody around you and you can't read their business card, you know who they are, and you can just even browse and look at who's like right around you. That's so cool. And then if you knew about the filter button, you had your filter, and then you click the filter, and then it was one event, and this guy, I said, "What are you looking for?" Marketing. So we put marketing there. Boom, there was a marketing person. On the other side of it was a networking event. It was at a bar, and super cool.
To your point, you don't really know who's standing around you and what they do. And so if you're in a room, regardless, I mean, any room, and you're looking around, you don't know unless you're, highly networked in what everyone does. And so the power, like you say, of putting it in your hand, saying, hey, there's marketing, that lady over there handles PR and advertising, all of a sudden now you have a wealth of knowledge right there at your fingertips. And it also, I think it gives you the icebreaker, exactly what you're going after, to open that conversation, because now you know a little bit about them and what they do, their industry, their specialization. You can walk up to them and have a very strong conversation with a good icebreaker versus oh, well, what do you do? And da, 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 da. It's no, right. Hey, I see you're in marketing and advertising. I would love to talk to you. Tell me more about you. So it's it gives you an instant connection that you can build on. And I think anytime you have information that you're using as power, it's a good thing to be able to open some doors that lead to new opportunities. So wrap up on your end in terms of next steps. I mean, obviously the website, the app, how we download the app, filling out the profile. Give us some next steps to start activating.
Probably the easiest way to do it, because IceBrekr, believe it or not, there's SEO that you can do in app stores. But the word IceBrekr, obviously is a commonly used term. So you may have a hard time finding the way that we spell IceBrekr, which is IceBrekr in the App Store. But if you go to our website, IceBrekr.com. That's the best way to get the app, download it from there. And then, check it out. There's a virtual, so everything we talked about in terms of in-person events, there's a virtual mode. I had to pivot during COVID, right? There was no in-person events. So I created this like a virtual mode thing, all the same features, all the same reasons. In fact, it's even harder on the web. Imagine 25 little faces. You're not going to talk to each one, right? There's one chat box. Things get lost. You can put your information in there. Who's going to scroll through and read it, right? So it's the same value, but in web. There's one that's called a demo event. Check that out. I've got a bunch of my personal, test phones in there, so you can kind of play with it and see what's up. But yeah, and that's a good way to start.
And to your point, the spelling is a little different. So IceBrekr. So IceBrekr. And that's the website as well, IceBrekr.com. So that makes it easy where you can download the app. You can see everything that we're talking about. So Dave, definitely congratulations and best of luck for the road ahead. Look forward to having you come back on and talk about all the success. So I'm excited for you what lies ahead, but thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks, Jeremy. Pleasure. Appreciate you.